Yours truly, King of Podcasts, presents to you another wonderful world of When I'm Not Podcasting. Thanks for being here. Why most people don't understand influencer marketing? Well, if you don't know what it is all about, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go ahead and learn about it yourself. TheDrum.com actually is a good piece where they kind of lay it out, but then the understanding of why most people don't understand it. So here's what they say. One of the most important discussions marketers are still having is to have around the capabilities of influence marketing. To understand the difference between traditional and influencer marketing, consider the evolution of media as influencers have developed over the past 10 years. Influencers were an inevitable side effect of social media. So the people that would stand out above others, that would become celebrities, famous for their work in social media. That's what they're talking about. But their contribution to marketing is a young area still being explored by the majority of brands. Considering how they have come about will help us understand their core features and how these differentiate from traditional marketing routes. So here's an example. You could sit in a pub and tell your 5 closest friends about your views on the new car you just bought. You might even tell a few people and be influenced by your perspective themselves. They might even trust your recommendation more than all the other posters and television ads, as they know you. And they know you had a good judgment of other cars in the past, so why don't they trust you now? So small-scale word-of-mouth advertising. For brands, this is gold. But this is only achievable on a very small scale. But now we got social media. And now anybody can create a website, can create a profile, share their views, opinions, and experiences with the world. They can share their opinion of their latest car purchase on these platforms. And I look at what they're doing right now with influencing. You see a lot of jewelry, makeup, clothing, things like that. And there's a lot of products that people are using that they're going and showcasing. So you might have a plethora of models who would not get the chance to be modeling themselves because they might not have the height or the weight requirements or what there might be. I mean, there are some that cater to influencing without putting any real advertising in front of them. Fashion Nova is a great example of that. Just saying, you've seen a lot of women that might be influencers that might be wearing Fashion Nova clothing. And there's other products very similar that do the same thing. Now, your opinions hold weight because they are unbiased to the degree that they didn't come from the car manufacturers themselves. Again, they don't feel fake. They don't feel pushed. They don't feel rehearsed. They don't feel scripted. When you have somebody doing this, there might be some people that put out things that might feel a little bit different. But again, that's what people are going to do. When you're purchasing an influencer media space, you're not just buying a media space. You're paying someone for an honest review of your product or service. You're paying for their content creation skills and for access to their specific audience. You're able to customize according to much more specific niches and gain their audience's trust and respect through their proxy. Listen, you look at the way that the Jenners and the Kardashians are able to put themselves out there and promote like crazy. There was a time where paparazzi was very popular because then you would see pictures taken of stars in particular clothing, when Uggs were a big thing, or, you never know. You can see girls wearing Gucci belts these days, or wearing something from Fashion Nova, or wearing some makeup from Sephora, or some other line that's out there. Or people cooking and they're using particular products. That could be their own, that could be somebody else's. Things like that go on as well. Especially see that with TikTok. And then you see advertisements done in the form of how influencers do their plugging and promotion. You're starting to see it blends right in. Now, ideal influencer strategies work with influencers at the strategy stage right through the tracking, sales, and re-engagement stage of any campaigns. Think of them not as just a distribution channel, but a collaborative element feeding back into your strategy to improve it. Only a few brands are using influencers in this way. The majority of people approach it as a media space to use its distribution for your messaging. But as the industry matures and we understand more about the nuances of influencers, it's clear that this media channel sits apart from any other form of marketing. It's not just a media space, it's a holistic strategy that they can play so many more roles within your business. So that is the idea of advertising, of marketing, putting out products. For those of you that are on social media and putting out products, then you find ways, if you have something that appeals to somebody, then you're able to promote products. And they could be products that are being put out for whatever. There are a lot of YouTube creators, a lot of opinion type people, a lot of tutorial types, do-it-yourselves, fashion hauls, makeup tips, a lot of things. You mean you have products, like if it's for dietary. If you have fresh food lines, you're doing, ready-made meals that are sent to your home, or you're doing whatever it might be. There's products that are out there, and companies are willing to go ahead and take a chance on somebody putting out a product and just putting it out there. We know that influencer marketing is very popular now when it comes to, in the cannabis space, where I work with some of the people that I do in my full-time work in radio. They're using influencers. Now, celebrities, which is the interesting part to me, is that's who's replacing the celebrities. The ones who would have to pay a fee to their agents, pay a fee to the studios to let them do something for the price tag they'll be put on said celebrity, whether they're at their peak or they're on their way down. What's happening here is we're seeing stars that are coming out overnight and just becoming stars. Influencers you see right now, again, the Kardashians are a great example. But then you go to TikTok, you think of an Allison Reed or a Charli D'Amelio or Dixie D'Amelio for that matter. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of things, and then they find a way to become where if they're getting such a big audience for what they're doing, who knows who it could be. It could be Logan Paul. It could be PewDiePie. It could be, Pickett. Right? That's what happens. And then there's some people that are able to make themselves really big and become stars overnight. That's where Dixie D'Amelio comes in. Lily Singh's another example. And there are others. And then there are other stars from other organizations. Like I'm a follower of wrestling, and I see certain stars that are able to pull 5-10 million viewers or fans on their respective sites, their respective Instagram or Facebook pages or TikTok or whatever. And this is what's changing the whole world, is because influencer marketing, the understanding of what you need to understand about influencer marketing, which really is the crux of the story, is if you're looking to promote a product and you have a service or something that you think would be great, then just plugging into somebody else, a run-of-the-mill that has a scripted, put-together kind of program doesn't work anymore. It might not be as effective as it is when you go to a celebrity, as it would be to go to somebody who is a star on Instagram or a star on Facebook or a star on TikTok. That's what happens now. So that's something you think about, whether you're on the side of being an influencer or you're on the side of wanting to use influencers to get your products out and your services noticed. Especially if you have new products. You don't know what kind of products might take off as a result of what you do. Keep that in mind. It's very important. And even with the pandemic that has come upon us, it doesn't change anything about the influencers, because they've learned to adapt, because they're not beholden to what their betters are telling them to do, right? The influencers are basically, they don't really have management or agents or things like that. They might have somebody that's helping them out, but really it's on their own. They don't have PR people or things like that unless they're really big. But there are many out there that if you wanted to promote a product, I don't think it would hurt if you put some product in their hands and say, hey, can you help out with this? And, if we sell any of this, we'll do a revenue share with you. Sounds like a good plan. And we'll leave it there. I'll talk to you next time.